NFL Showdown picks time. So top plays for this weekend's NFL Showdown contest. So I want to start with your captain's pick for Bengals Titans. Pearce, most expensive guy in the captain slot here, going to be Derrick Henry.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take Jamar Chase. You just can't stop this guy. Janoris Jenkins is not going to stop him. Good defenses can't stop him. The only person that slowed down Jamar Chase has been when the Bengals decided to run the ball for a spell during the season. Well, they're not running anymore. They're passing nonstop. He destroyed the Raiders last week. He didn't really play in the game against the Browns, but you go back to that Kansas City game, 266 yards receiving. It's insane. Against the Ravens, both games, he destroyed them. I don't see any scenario where in the biggest game of the season, Joe Burrow is not feeding the ball to Jamar Chase against a defense that will allow yards to the air. So you just got to hammer in Chase.
Geoff, we knew Pearce wasn't going to go with a guy on the Titans.
Look, I mean, absolutely, Jamar Chase has upside in this matchup. I mean, there's a couple different scenarios. Bet the Bengals could just come out and start throwing, and they could be behind. But I'm very bullish on just using Derrick Henry in showdown contests here for your captain. I think enough people are going to be scared of the workload concerns and saying, oh, well, he might only get 12 touches. I just come back to the fact this guy's been practicing for 3 weeks. They have been prepping for this in Tennessee for like 2 months now for this exact spot. And here it is. And look, we talk about the weakness of the Tennessee Titans pass defense. Well, the bigger weakness is the Cincinnati Bengals rush defense. They allowed 7.4 yards per carry to the Raiders last game, 5.9 yards per carry over their last 3 games. This is not a good rush defense. They're going to lose the battle at the line of scrimmage big time. And if they do that, Derrick Henry might run for 200 yards here. And I'm not being facetious at all. So, yeah, don't be scared. Just roster Derrick Henry.
Alan, you scared or what?
I'm very scared, but those are 2 great picks, both of those. Joe Burrow at 10-8 is the second highest price showdown on the showdown, but he's still undervalued. Earlier, I mentioned the Titans are better against the run than you think. It's going to be Joe Burrow and the pass catchers if they're going to win this game. And there's a narrative floating around that the Bengals are satisfied. They won a playoff game for the first time in decades, but Burrow doesn't strike me as that type of player. He's more of a DJAF player, right? Burrow is what Baker Mayfield wishes he was. Burrow's going to make this a dogfight, and even if they don't win, he's going to be one of these interesting early season MVP talks for next year. I like Burrow as my captain.
All right, let's move on to that 49ers-Packers game. Geoff, most expensive guy in the captain spot by far going to be Davante Adams at $17,400.
Yeah, I mean, last week I was making cases for value guys, and a lot of these value guys, they just didn't pan out. I'm going to stay away from that strategy here. It's Davante Adams, man. I mean, I think this is the spot where you've got everything just seems to be going in Green Bay favor right now, and I think this could be a spot where Green Bay ends up winning by 20. And if they do get up, they're not going to let up because it's a playoff game. Davante Adams absolutely cut through the San Francisco secondary back in week 3. And really nothing has changed. San Francisco's got a good pass rush, but now Nick Bosa is also, questionable. And quite frankly, the Packers did a good job of containing him in the first matchup. So Davante Adams here, I think is going to have an absolutely monster game. I think you're going to see most of the offense from Green Bay flow through him. And I think you should just pay up again. Let other people get fancy.
Alan, what do you think? You want to pay all the way up to that $17,400 price tag?
I'm a little frugal. I want to go with Elijah Mitchell, the running back on San Francisco at 12-3. It's my pick. Jimmy G's hand is not going to be 100%, and the 49ers are likely going to want to control the ball in that freezing cold environment. Mitchell was a 6th-round steal for this team, and when healthy, and he is this weekend, they have shown they want to feed him the ball. Mitchell has that 3-down skill set, and he's got fresh legs. If you're in a large field tournament, though, one of my sneaky strategies is, and it almost never works, by the way, is to captain the backup quarterback, and Trey Lance at $9K is going to be almost non-existently owned. And if Jimmy G doesn't make it out of that first quarter, you have a high upside cheap captain all to yourself.
All right, Pearce, who are you putting in the captain spot?
I'm going to go with the receiver just like Geoff and the same receiver. It's going to be Davante Adams. As he mentioned before, 12 catches on 18 targets for 120 yards against San Francisco the first time. San Francisco might be worse this time around. We know that Green Bay is going to be better. Aaron Rodgers is about as healthy as he's been in weeks. They're coming off the bye week. He's the best receiver in football. I don't expect Green Bay to completely blow out San Francisco, so they're going to have to feed him the ball consistently. And that's what they've done. 120 catches this season, for over 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns. The biggest game of the year. They're healthy. I'm pretty sure the ball is going to go to Adams a lot in this game.
All right, Alan, Rams, Bucks. Who's your captain's pick in this one? No surprise, Cooper Kupp is the top price guy at 17,100.
Give me a little Matt Stafford over here. He hadn't been playing well over the last month of the season, and I know a lot of sharp bettors took the Cardinals money line last week, believing Stafford didn't have what it takes to get the Rams playmakers the ball, and based on his prior play, you can't really blame them. The Rams are going to be a popular upset pick this week, and Stafford and Kupp are so in sync they can basically complete each other's sentences at this point, and Stafford trusts Odell Beckham, and last week Stafford even had a rushing touchdown. Matt Stafford and Sean McVay look locked in, and he represents the best value with the low rostership upside.
All right, Pearce, who are you going with?
Giovanni Bernard. Can save you a little bit of money here. Now, you got to make sure that Leonard Fournette is not going to play. If Fournette plays, then you might want to just move Bernard to a regular spot and not captain him. But it looks like Fournette's not going to be ready. And Bernard had 13 rushes last week, got goal line work, 7 targets out of the backfield. And when the game was close, Bernard was the lead running back. So I would imagine in this close matchup, he's going to get the majority of the work. And we're also expecting, with these two good rush defenses playing, we're probably going to see a pass attack type of game. And if they're passing more, which Tampa Bay tends to do, then you're going to see Bernard get the most amount of action.
All right, Geoff, who are you putting in the captain spot?
Yeah, much like Pearce, I think this is a game where you don't necessarily have to pay up at the top for your captain spot. I mean, I think there's some interesting value options there, but I'm also just not necessarily expecting like a shootout type of game here. I think Tyler Higby is actually very interesting here. We saw him pop up with 2 touchdowns a couple games ago. No one's going to be using him, but if you do use Higby there, and realistically, if you get like 1 touchdown, you're going to be able to fit in maybe both quarterbacks, Kupp and Stafford. And the thing about Higby is here, like Pearce is right, how are the Rams going to run the ball against Tampa Bay? Like, I just don't think it's going to happen. So you're going to get more targets for guys like Van Jefferson and Tyler Higby. And I think this is a very good spot to deploy Tyler Higby, just from the simple fact that, from a showdown standpoint, if we're not expecting that many points, you're going to be able to get in all those studs. So.
All right, captain's pick for Bills Chiefs. Pearce, who are you going with?
Give me Josh Allen. I think you got to play the studs in this game. I know there's this Devin Singletary narrative. Oh, he's going to be great and he's playing well. But that was also a game that they were well ahead. This is going to be a competitive game. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a Josh Allen game. He was nearly perfect last week, which was pretty amazing. A quarterback rating over 150 against a team that was very familiar with him. If he's playing that well, I imagine he's going to continue to play well this week. Also, Kansas City gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but do not sack the quarterback, which means Josh Allen will scramble, he will run, and more than likely his receivers are going to be covered by a pretty strong secondary in Kansas City. So I'm pretty bullish that he's going to go over 100 yards rushing. He's going to run the ball in the end zone. His prop at passing-wise is 268. I think he's absolutely going to crush, and you just pay up for him.
All right, Geoff, who's your captain?
Oh, man. I mean, I really wanted to make a case for Cole Beasley here, because I feel like if you use Cole Beasley in the captain spot, you can just fit in everybody else. So I do think that's an option. I'm going to stick to my thing, what I said earlier, though. We'll stop mentioning these scrubs. I mean, okay, well, there's Cole Beasley. Let's just make it Cole Beasley. I was going to say Tyreek Hill. But let's talk about Cole Beasley a bit. I mean, we're expecting a shootout type of game here, folks. Like, everybody's going to be scoring points. And we have seen this with Kansas City in the past in these higher scoring games that, you need to get in all the studs. So taking a shot with the value play in the captain spot, it makes sense. Beasley is one of those players who he will just pop up out of nowhere with Josh Allen with 12 targets. And I really feel like at some point in this game, because they're playing Kansas City and because the Bills probably aren't going to have another perfect offensive game, you're going to see Josh Allen just have to chuck the ball a lot more this week. I think Cole Beasley should be the value target. You target with the captain spot. But if you just don't like that strategy, you think I'm an idiot, just use Tyreek Hill.
All right, Alan, real quick, who you put in the captain spot?
I'll go right to Jerick McKinnon in the scrubland here. When fish are in the pond, and I expect all the brand name players to be captains. So if you want a chance to win it all, go contrarian, go Jerick McKinnon. He's a highly skilled player, and when healthy, he showed that he has a 150 total yard and a pair of touchdown upside.